For years, I thought understanding metabolic health was mostly about food. Eat better, exercise, improve your insulin sensitivity, keep your blood sugar under control. And while I still believe all of those things matter, I recently realized that I was missing one of the biggest pieces, my nervous system. Hi, I am Lana. I am a functional medicine certified health coach. And over the past few years, I've been on a personal journey to better understand my own body through science, testing, and real-life experiments. Today, I wanted to share one of the biggest insights I've had, why I now believe that our nervous system deserves just as much attention as nutrition, movement, and sleep. Every experiment taught me something. Every blood test gave me another clue. Every scan revealed another piece of puzzle. Little by little, I started understanding my body in the ways I never had before. Recently, I was listening to one of Dr. Ben Beckman's metabolic classroom lectures about the vagus nerve. The more I learned, the more I realized this wasn't just a fascinating science. It was something that I could actually apply in my own life. So I started making a few simple changes to better support my own nervous system. Before we finish today, I'll share a few simple practices that are commonly recommended to support a healthy nervous system and vagal function because they've become an important part of my own health journey. So, what exactly is the vagus nerve? The simplest way I understand it's this. It's one of the main communication pathways between our brain and our body. It starts in the brain, then travels through the neck, into the chest, and then abdominal, and then connecting with organs like heart, lungs, stomach, pancreas, liver, and intestine. For a long time, I thought those organs were simply doing their own job independently. But they're not. They're constantly communicating. Your brain sends messages to your body, and your body sends messages back to your brain. People often say, listen to your body. It means I'm supposed to notice signals, my energy, my sleep, my mood, my digestion, my recovery, even changes that I could measure, like my blood glucose. That's the language my body had been speaking all along. It's a conversation that is happening every second, every day, whether we're aware of it or not. When I heard Dr. Beckman explain it that way, I immediately started thinking about my own journey. What fascinated me the most was learning that our body can actually begin preparing for a meal before we've even taken a first bite. Just seeing food, smelling it, or even thinking about it can send signals through the vagus nerve. And that's when body prepares for something about to happen. Researchers are still learning exactly how this works in people. But that wasn't really the point that stayed with me. The point was this. My brain wasn't just watching what was happening. It was participating. Once I understood that, I started looking back at everything that I've been observing over past years. And suddenly, so many things made a little more sense. I had seen stress raising my blood glucose even when I hadn't eaten. Then I seen a hot shower raise it, sometimes sauna raise it, exercise. At first, those moments confused me, and I kept thinking, I didn't eat anything, why is my blood sugar changing? Now, I'm not saying that vagus nerve explains every one of those observations. Our body's so much more complex than that. But it helped me to realize something important. Metabolism isn't just about the food. It's also about communication. The constant communication between our brain and our body. Then I thought about my hot yoga classes. They're done in a room with infrared heat. And over the years, I've noticed that heat could temporarily raise my blood sugar. In the past, I did not know that effect of the heat on my body. So for a long time, that's all I focused on, numbers. But today, that's not what I remember the most. What I remember is how I felt afterwards. So I am laying on my mat during the relaxation, after my yoga class was completed. I felt completely different than before I walked in that class. Peaceful, calm, clear. I found myself wishing I could somehow explain that feeling to someone who says they don't have a time to exercise. Not because I wanted to convince them to do hot yoga, but because I wish they could experience that feeling for themselves. And it made me wonder, maybe I've been paying too much attention to one number and not enough attention to everything else my body was experiencing. Maybe my body was responding in ways that I couldn't see in the graph. Walking taught me something similar. Almost every time I went for a walk, I came back feeling calmer, clearer, more energized. And looking back, I realized those were not isolated experiences. Each one became another clue that helped me better understand my body. One thing I've learned over these past few years is that understanding my body didn't happen all at once. It happened one observation at a time. Sometimes those observations came from blood work, sometimes from my blood glucose monitor, sometimes they came from simply paying attention how I felt, and sometimes they came at 2 o'clock in the morning. By the way, there's one practice that made a surprisingly big difference for me. That happens at night. Sometimes I wake up and when I'm trying to fall asleep, my brain starts replaying a conversation or worrying about something, and I can't solve that at that moment. The more I paid attention, the more I realized those thoughts were not helping me. They were keeping me awake. They were keeping my body from doing what it needs the most. Resting. So I started practicing something. Whenever I noticed my mind going down that road, I would gently say, "Hey brain, stop. These thoughts don't serve me right now. We can think about this tomorrow." At first, it didn't happen automatically. I had to catch myself before those thoughts took over. But I kept practicing it. And little by little, something changed. Today, it works almost every time. I fall asleep much faster. I'm no longer spending hours trapped in the same loop of negative thoughts. I can't explain exactly what's happening inside of my brain or my nervous system, but I do know this. I've learned how to interrupt a pattern that was keeping my body in a state of stress when it really needed to rest. That became another lesson. Sometimes taking care of my health didn't mean changing what I ate. Sometimes it meant changing the conversation happening inside of my mind. The more I paid attention to moments like that, the more I realized my body was constantly giving me information through stress, through sleep, through movement, through hunger, through focus. And instead of asking, how do I control my body? I started asking, what is my body trying to tell me? That one question changed everything. Instead of becoming frustrated, I became curious instead of judging. I started observing instead of trying to win a battle against my body. I started building relationship with it, and relationship begins with listening. The more I look back over these past years, the more I realize I wasn't just collecting data. I was learning a new way to understand my body. At first, every experiment felt separate. Nutrition was one thing, exercise was another, sleep seemed unrelated, stress was on its own category. Each one of them seemed like they had their own piece of the puzzle. But over time, I started seeing how connected they are really. We often put these things into separate boxes. Food over there, exercise over there, sleep in another, stress somewhere else, and now nervous system. But our bodies don't work that way. Everything is connected. We can eat healthy food, exercise regularly, monitor blood sugar, improve insulin sensitivity, and all of these things matter. But if our nervous system is also influencing how our body functions, then I don't want to ignore that part of my health anymore. Maybe taking care of my nervous system isn't separate from metabolic health. Maybe it's part of metabolic health. That realization changed the way I approach my own health journey. I am no longer looking for one thing to fix. I'm learning to see the whole picture. And honestly, that made my journey much more enjoyable because every new observation, it's not a failure. It's simply another opportunity to learn. I don't expect my body to be perfect. I expect that to keep teaching me, and I want to keep listening. That is also one of the reasons I love health coaching. Every person has different story, a different body, a different history, different experiences, different habits, different challenges. My role isn't to tell someone exactly what they should do. It's to help them to slow down, notice patterns, connect the pieces, and begin understanding what their body has been trying to communicate. Because I don't believe there's one perfect plan for everyone, but I do believe that everybody has a story. Sometimes we just need someone to help us to recognize it. If you're trying to understand your own body and all the pieces and food and movement, stress, sleep and daily habits, and they're feeling overwhelming, I would love to help. That's exactly what I do as a health coach. You can learn more about me at living-radiant.com. Before we finish, I want to leave you with something practical. If the vagus nerve really is one of the main communication pathways between our brain and body, then I think it deserves our attention, just like nutrition, movement, and sleep. The good news is there are simple, everyday practices that are commonly recommended to help support a healthy nervous system and vagal function. I'm still learning about many of these myself, but there are a few that have become a part of my own daily practices. One is slow, deep breathing, taking just a few minutes to breathe slowly from your diaphragm, and that can help encourage your body to shift into a calmer, more relaxed state. Regular movement, whether it's walking, strength training, or maybe hot yoga classes, movement has become one of the ways I support my body and my mind. Spending time in nature. Some of my clearest thinking happened during the walk outside. Nature has ways of helping me slow down and reset. Singing, humming, or even laughing. This may sound surprisingly simple, but they're commonly recommended because they create gentle vibration that may help stimulate the vagus nerve. Cold exposure. Even ending with cold shower, if it's appropriate to you, can be supportive to your nervous system. Meditation or mindfulness. Not about emptying your mind, but about giving your mind and body a chance to slow down. And finally, prioritizing sleep and recovery, because our nervous system needs time to recharge, just like the rest of the body. None of these are magic solutions, but together they remind me that taking care of my health isn't just about what I eat. It's also about creating the environment where my body can function the way it was designed to. And I believe my nervous system is an important part of that picture. For years, I thought my health journey was mostly about learning what to eat. Today, I think my health journey is really about learning my body's language. Every change in my energy, my sleep, my hunger, my mood, my recovery, and even my blood work has become another clue. And the more clues I collect, the better I understand what my body's trying to tell me. I believe my nervous system has been one of the most important voices in that conversation. So next time your body does something you don't understand, don't be too quick to judge it. Get curious. It might be trying to teach you something. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. If you enjoyed this video, I would love to have you subscribe and join me as I continue exploring metabolic health through science, personal experience, and everything I'm learning along the way. And if you'd like someone to walk alongside with you on your own health journey, I would be honored to help. You can learn more at living-radiant.com. Take good care of yourself. Keep learning Keep listening to your body, and I'll see you in my next video.